Elite Assembly. Step up and see flash, it's the ToyLeet crew. We're the kings of the game, yeah, the chosen few. From the shadows we rise with the rarest finds. Collect them, respect them, we're one of a kind. ToyLeet, ready in the streets. Elite with the feats in this collectible feast. ToyLeet, never discreet. When the heart of the beat, we're all playmates me. Check our stacks, our collection supreme. Limited editions, every collector's dream. We're the myths, we're the legends, with every drop. Taking over the block, we never stop. In the alleys where the echoes play. ToyLeet's the name, hear what we say. Rising, thriving, always thriving. In our realm we're always driving. ToyLeet, rain in the street, the lips ToyLeet. Setting the pace. With a snap of the case and a click of the lock. ToyLeet's on top and we're ready to rock. Collecting more than just toys. We're up. We're up. We're up. Chase ToyLeet's in the place, set in the pace.
What's up, brother?
What's up, dude?
What's happening?
Here you were having all that party in the back
We were
room.
partying all night in the
in.
back, man. Where you been?
Yeah, awesome.
Doing all
Good
that
deal, man.
adulting
So for those that are just joining us for the first time, he's Ed Axion Figs.
And that guy over there is Mr. Wonderful, aka the Travis T.
Awesome. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great.
Good deal.
Got our ass handed to us with some snow, but you know, it's just
dude,
part of living in New York, man. Love it.
Yeah, tons of snow up here, man, and ice too, like power outages and stuff up this way.
Really?
I've been lucky that we haven't had any. I've been lucky that we haven't had any power outages this way, but you know, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, we got probably 14 inches yesterday, and it just wind was like 50-mile-an-hour gust blowing everything around. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, no, it's we had like 45-mile-an-hour winds up here the other day. You know, so definitely, I'm a little worried because I'm going to be heading out your way in a couple weeks to Elimination Chamber out there in Toronto. I'm going to be passing up past you and heading up that way. I'm hoping that my car makes it right side up, unlike those planes up there in Toronto, you know, yesterday. So hopefully it cools down, you know, not cools down, heats up, I guess.
Yeah,
and gets a little bit easier.
It's supposed to be like 40, starting to get 40, so it's almost over with.
Good deal. So tonight's a little different, but for those that are first time joining us, typically Ed and myself, we get together every week, and this is like week 7 or 8 in a row, something like that. Like we're hitting on all cylinders now. We typically get together, and what we like to do is we like to talk plastic, which is our passion. We talk, you know, mainly independent toy lines and toy adjacent. You know, there's other guys like A Punk with Toys and some of our other friends like always forget my buddy over on Wednesday, Unboxing Art. You know, and you know, they focus on your mainstream stuff, right? Your Hasbro, your Mattel, your Super Sevens, and your McFarlane and stuff. But we like to focus on the independent toys, which is really cool because tonight our main topic is about an independent toy line that's going to be having a Kickstarter later this month, or I guess next month, beginning of March. And you know, it's independent toys. It's by one of my favorite sculptors, you know, Space Zombies from Mars. So we have a few folks from that team. The Nameless, what is it? It's the Nameless Toy Company, TNT. So they'll be joining us in our main topic where we're focusing on is Pluto a planet? Who really cares though? Because we're talking space zombies from Mars. So that's the focus of tonight. We'll ask some questions, help them get awareness around that product and the upcoming Kickstarter. Ask some questions around Kickstarter, around one of my favorite things, which is lore, and some of the specifics in the Kickstarter that will be coming up on March 1st. But normally we go into like ToyLeet or ToyLeet, the toy going in the toilet or up on our shelf. I actually got a couple things that actually made the shelf in the last 48 hours. I got that Charlotte Ultimate from Helidope Toys, and I got a Ricochet figure from Mattel that I got from Helidope Toys. It's up on the shelf. I actually got a box here, but I'm not going to open it this week. I'm going to open it next week, just because in the interest of time and having some really cool guests we really just want to dive in with. I'm going to avoid bringing that up. And we're also going to hold off on our normal thing, which is the shout out from the Crick. If we were to give a shout out, we'd give it out to the Nameless Toy Company because they're doing some really kick-ass and cool stuff.
That's right.
And we look forward to discussing that here briefly with them. Anything else you want to cover, Ed, before I jump right into it?
Oh, no. I got a couple things. I got Indiana Jones tote from Mezco. I got that Friday or Saturday. Really cool figure. Great accessories, of course. But I got a couple more things. So next week, our ToyLeet will be a nice packed segment.
Yeah, maybe we can double stuff that toilet.
Yeah,
we can really fill it in.
We'll do it like a post Taco Bell night out.
Yeah, awesome. So first thing I'm going to do, you're seeing my screen here. We've got the main topic. I already touched on that. We'll be bringing our guest in momentarily, but we're going to jump right in. Couple news items this week.
Let's dive in.
So it's going to be a streamlined version of the news because there's a couple things I want to touch on. The first thing is an update from Armies of Ashmore. The Defenders of Eden, I believe, is the company there. They posted a little teaser of some behind-the-scenes work they're doing on their graphic novel comic tied to the Armies of Ashmore line. And in the chat and comments, they did make alerts and notify folks that both the comic book and the toys are coming soon. So as you know, I didn't back this one, but I'm definitely going to find my way to get my hands on that comic book for sure, because you know me, and I like some lore and I like some cool art for sure.
I know you do.
So a little quick update from those guys over at Armies of Ashmore. Then just jumping right into Creative Beast Studios. And this is something we may not have mentioned for folks just joining us for the first time. We do talk about plastic and action figures and all that fun stuff. But one of the things that we also focus is on the adjacent, right? That's the Armies of Ashmore comic. That's a big thing that I enjoy. And I know you do too, Ed. Creative Beast Studios actually recently announced a little preview of their new comic book artist, Ivan. We'll say Ivan K, because I'm going to murder his last name. It's on the Instagram post. But they have a little sneak peek of an early scene, which will eventually be in full color for the comic book that they've announced for issue number 1. And I thought this looked really cool, so I didn't want folks to miss this. I'll keep you guys updated as this comes to fruition, because I will definitely be getting one of these shipped out to myself. Another little quick update. And this one touches really close to home for me because I talked about this last week. And I hit it on the head, guys. I freaking nailed it. Like I mentioned that it was going to be like a Snake Guy was going to be the Four Horsemen's final retailer exclusive. And don't get me wrong, I think I messaged you at 6 o'clock shut up, Ed. 6 o'clock in the morning, you got a message from me. Well, I nailed it. So
Yes,
I'm very excited for this one. And this might be my favorite of all the Retailer Wave exclusives.
Yeah.
Which did go on sale. This one's only $50. And this one did go on sale. You can pre-order it through the retailers that are partners. We recommend our boys over at Helidope. They got it up on the website. Go ahead and place a pre-order for that one.
And if you order from Helidope before March 14th, you can get free shipping on any
even on pre-orders.
In stock for Horseman figures, pre-order or in stock. Free shipping.
Yep. They also had one other update. Just want to give folks an update. Anyone in the U.S., Canada, and China, shipping starts Wednesday, February 26th for the Necronomicus wave. So if you've been waiting on those for a bit, those should start to go out by the end of this month. And then anyone in the international retailers looking at March 10th. So get your pre-orders if some people still have pre-orders available. Go ahead and give those out. I don't know if Helidope does or not, as I would refer you to them, but definitely check them out.
They closed theirs down, I believe.
Okay. So if they're not available, you might want to check out one of those other big bad toy stores.
Yeah.
So The next one, real quick update from our boys over at Fresh Monkey Fiction, who, as I told you, Ed, the other day, I finally got my order in for the Santa sleigh. I got my order in for the heads and my Santa Claus that I need for my winter diorama. But they also posted, I saw a post today or yesterday on this one, which is the Commander Gridiron Paintmaster revealed.
Yep.
So you can go ahead and pre-order this over at Big Bad Toys for the Skull Crusher Monster Force display. Got a couple photos there. Thought this looked good. I'm sure your eyes are on this one, right, Ed?
Oh yeah, I got that guy on pre-order already. So
yeah, that's what I figured. You and your
I
love
got
for
the entire Monster Force on pre-order. So there's, but I do have the sleigh. I do have the sleigh. So
oh, and one thing I'm going to call out here: you were wrong. I'll take his job. Don't worry, Aaron. I can do it for him. Necronomicus is still up for pre-order over at ToyLeet Toys, so definitely go check it out. That said, what I want to do is jump right into the topic. I want to try to keep it nice and tight, Ed. So apologize if I ran through things too fast, but there's a couple items I wanted to touch on. But
let's
folks
keep
aren't here
rolling.
for me. They're not here for you. They're here for our guests. So I'm going to bring them in one at a time, or as well, I'll bring them in as broadcasts. We have Adam here from TNT, or as you may know him as highly articulated. What?
Words are hard. Words are hard.
Hey, what was the name of that wave? What's the name of that 4 Horsemen wave that's coming out?
Necronomicus? Did I say it wrong?
Necronomicus.
Whatever. There's too many letters in there. Come on. I told you I can't pronounce crap.
Adam, you have no idea how hard it was for me not to say anything. I knew if I cut him off, we'd be going down a rabbit hole.
And would you? Well,
I shouldn't have said anything.
Would you not believe that they ask me to demo and present as a consultant all the time? All the time. It's all I do. I sit on camera, I sit in meetings, and I speak all the time. I think they just like to laugh at me. That's what it is. It's like improv stand-up, and they don't even realize it.
Yes, the 4 horsemen sit there and go, let's name these guys something that Travis, Mr. Wonderful, cannot pronounce because it'll be fun.
Exactly. I mean, look at the way I spell my own name. I mean, it says enough, right? I think that should cover it. But we have Adam here, highly articulated, over on YouTube and Instagram. Did I say that right, Adam?
Yeah.
Awesome. And a member of the TNT company. We're going to go ahead and bring in 2 of our other special guests here. They're on the same camera. We have Arlen and Ira, partners at the TNT company. I don't know if I have the titling and, official co-founder things titled properly, but I'm assuming all co-founders. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Awesome. Welcome, guys. Thank you for jumping in and joining the stream tonight. Looking forward to talking about your project here coming up in March. Adam, if you want to introduce yourself for the 1 or 2 people that don't know you on the stream.
Can I knock the light over? I'm Adam.
Awesome. If you don't know Adam,
Adam likes long walks on the beach.
And if you want to get a hold of him, I have a customer service email I can send you after the stream.
Exactly. Yeah.
You can
I was going to say, you may know me better as help@spirotoys.com.
Awesome. And then we have Arlen and Ira. Arlen, if you want to speak first.
Sure.
You want to introduce yourself a little bit?
I'm Arlen. Did I do it right?
and Ira.
Then I am Ira. Yeah, that is me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal, guys.
And together
we'll
they
jump
are
right
Prometheus, right?
Yes, we are Prometheus.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, we'll jump right on into the slides and whatnot and start digging into this project of yours, Space Zombies from Mars. And specifically, I'm going to start with, I have a bunch of images here that I've went and stole from a specific Instagram account and posted them here. So this one was kind of one of the first ones you guys posted and kind of like, I think in the text, it said something along the lines of kind of where it all started. So, whoever wants to take the microphone and speak to this, like, where did the idea of Space Zombies from Mars come from?
Well, basically that drawing was because I sculpt professionally for toy companies like Hasbro, Fresh Monkey Fiction, Spiro. How do you pronounce it?
Spiro.
I
I would have tried, but I'd have messed it up.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Necronomicon.
Yeah.
Nemesis.
I wanted to, like, I usually will sketch something out quickly and then sculpt it. And I wanted to be able to see if I could draw something that if I handed it off to another sculptor, they would be able to sculpt it. So that was, it was just an exercise. That's all it was.
Awesome. So the whole idea came from an exercise, just giving a shot at something.
Yeah, okay, basically. Cool. And the concept of just doing the, the skull with the broken shield floating in space is just a image that I just love. So I just kind of rolled with it. It's changed a lot since the initial designs, but yeah, developed, I should say.
Good deal. Good deal.
Mm-hmm.
So how did sounds like we understand just and we'll dig more into each thing, but how did you guys as a collective come together? Obviously we've got the brothers. So I'm assuming that there's a partnership that comes there. I've got a brother myself. We always try to collaborate on things, but neither of us have half the talent you guys have. So we don't really produce anything really well. So how did the three of you guys come together?
Travis's brothers. So
well, we're Canadian, so we just don't know each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Small town Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all neighbors, and
well, Canada's
Adam
small.
lives 2 doors down. Just kidding.
It's a small town.
No, they groomed me. And no.
Well,
I'm changing my name real quick. I
thought that was on brand. I thought that's what the podcast was about.
It was spot on, Adam. I loved it.
No, I actually met these guys at Joe Fest last year, and I had been working with Jason and sort of working for Spiro Toys. And Arlen, was sculpting for Spiro Toys, and he and I had sort of messaged back and forth a couple times. I tried to get him to do a video. He basically said no, but we kept chatting anyway. What's that?
I said it nicely.
Yeah, Canadian way. I think he said story, no. But then we just kept chatting, and I started doing the Spiro stuff, and we met at Joe Fest and had a couple meals together and ended up sort of in airports together on our way home. We were on the same flight from Atlanta to Calgary, which is a Canadian city, if you're not aware.
That's where Bret Hart's from, right?
I don't know.
You said Calgary, right?
Who's Bret Hart?
Exactly. He's not Shawn Michaels. Sorry.
Right next door to Toronto.
Exactly. And then we were in the Calgary airport for a couple hours, had a couple beers there, and just sort of talked about it, and they kind of, we had what do we have, like breakfast at Joe Fest, and they were asking me all these weird questions. And I now know that it was basically like a job interview.
Yeah, it was basically a 5-hour interview in an airport.
And then in the airport, we're having beers, and they're like, "Hey, let's start a company." And I was like, "Oh, okay, let's do it."
He said, "I'll have to ask my wife first."
That is true. I did. I did.
I can relate to that.
I have a full-time job. I'm also working for Spiro. We have 3 kids under the age of 10. So I'm not an idiot. I had to ask permission before I agreed to it. But she was like, "Yeah, go for it. It's something that I think would be a lot of fun," and it has been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of like stress and anxiety getting the whole project going, but yeah, that was it. It was kind of a chance meeting at a convention that I didn't know they were going to, and I don't know if they knew I was going to be there or not, but
I did. I was planning it.
Okay, well, there you go.
I had no idea. I didn't know who you were, Adam.
Yeah.
Ira thought he was going to a bluegrass convention.
That's right. I thought it was a bluegrass festival. Arlen tricked me.
Yeah. Why did you tell me to bring this banjo?
This ukulele, you mean?
Yeah.
So you guys obviously, at least Adam and Arlen, you guys have kind of worked in passing with each other, I assume, through the Spiro connection. What with TNT and specifically Space Zombies from Mars, what is kind of the creative process like between the team members, between all of you? I'm assuming the three of you are the company at this point, or maybe there's others. I know you've said, Adam, previously, you know, you have like someone like Jason helping with some of the paint stuff at times, but like as far as like, you know, you three are the company, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So with that said, like, how are you guys going creatively? Like, is one person kind of like driving the ideas and concepts, or is it a collaborative approach there? Okay.
Well, basically, Arlen and I. What?
I'm pointing at you guys.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I mean, look, that's what I do.
Yeah.
That's accounting.
Adam is just
That's
helping
my-
with Space Zombies from Mars.
Yeah. Arlen and I are basically we're really good at sitting around and coming up with crazy ideas and putting them into some sort of flow. And when that flow comes together, it comes out as characters and sculpts and stories and
Music.
But actually, really, the whole thing started. Well, it started with that picture there, but
That's the picture I showed you.
the story. Yeah. So do you want me to go into that
Yeah.
part? Yeah.
Might as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically what happened was Arlen and I told this story to Adam last night on his thing, but we wanted to start a band. Our band is called Prometheus, and Arlen and I didn't really know what sort of music we wanted to play, but we hadn't been in a band together for a long time. Yeah, that's what we call the Prometheus head right there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so we wanted to do some music, and so we got together for our first rehearsal. But Arlen had bought this pug. He bought a little pug, and the pug had come to him the day before our rehearsal. And as I was holding it on my chest, he fell asleep, and so we couldn't do our rehearsal. And so Arlen was showing me these pictures, and I was getting excited, and I was like, well, what if we if our band made music about that astronaut and created a story, and because we love the concept of a concept album, and it gives you a way to basically create the whole story with music, and we knew we wanted to do that. And so while that puppy was lying on my chest, we created the entire story arc of Space Zombies from Mars as an album. And then later on, we turned it into a comic book and furthered some other things. But that's kind of where it sort of started, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So why is there not
That's
a pug
freaking awesome.
action figure?
Why is there what?
Not yet.
Why is there not a pug action figure?
A pug action? Well, Oscar is the third member of Prometheus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's not
maybe one day. Space Bug.
Space Pug. Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
He's too cute to be a zombie.
Yeah.
So we couldn't put him into space quite yet.
That's
He's
so
still in
cool.
training.
So like,
Good answer.
Yeah.
so I'm a nerd for lore. So hearing the lore behind TNT of itself is really cool to hear. How you guys brought Adam in, how the concept was. Sounds like you guys had a really cool interview experience there in the Joe Lanta trip in the airport.
Well,
So
I didn't know it was happening.
that's the best kind, though, right? Adam is stress free, right?
I was like,
You're
man,
I
these
can't
guys ask weird questions. Like, what about toys or something? Like,
He's
what
over
would
here
you do in
texting
this
his wife.
scenario? Like, I don't know. Like this?
Were you over there texting your wife on the side going, man, I don't know if I'm going to ever come home. These guys got me in the middle of the woods in Canada, and I'm not sure. They're giving me drinks, and they're feeding me. I might be like a Hansel and Gretel story you might have to write about someday.
No, it was. I mean, it was. Jason was there, so we had a chaperone.
Oh, so
It
you were
was,
safe.
yeah. I had my safe person there, so that was it was fine. I didn't feel in danger. When we got in the van, I thought it was a little bit weird, but it turned out it was fine.
We just
That's
wanted to show him
awesome.
some toys, man.
My seatbelt won't come unlatched. Guys. My seatbelt won't come unlatched.
Why is the child safety lock on the
Do
door?
you have to
guys?
zip
Come
tie
on,
my
guys.
hands? I don't. What is going on here?
He's actually
Where's that lollipop you promised?
he's actually in the van still right now.
It's just a digital background.
That's right.
No.
Green
So
screen.
So who's been responding to my Spiro emails? Then? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, that's awesome.
No,
Cool.
that's still me.
That's great. So I'm gonna move on from that kind of an extension into some of the images that you guys have posted, right? And continue to ask questions. And darn it, give me a second, guys. I'm gonna stop sharing and reload this because I want to make sure you guys have this image showing. Sorry. Don't know what happened there, guys. It's been happening lately for me. Give me 1 second.
Well, while he's doing that, let's run through the chat. Say hi to everybody that's showing up here, since we haven't done that yet. How about that?
Go ahead and blast that for a second.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Ostradamus Toys is here. What's up, Oz? And this is officially a toy tube since Nolan is in the house. Oz
Hi,
getting
Nolan.
upset.
Hi,
Oz
Nolan.
getting upset because everybody's stealing his thunder and showing up late. But we always show up late because we don't believe in time. Menhoza, or as Punk likes to say, Menhoza is here. Thanos Copter and the beautiful Cobweb Collectors in the house. And the Briscoe, another Canadian that lives right next door to Adam, Arlen, and Ira.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Hey,
And
Howdy, neighbor.
Kenzo's Creations and Endless Fables is here. And I think we got just a couple more. Turk Murphy's Toy Solutions is here. What's up, Turk? And GI Jetman, what's going on, brother? And Troy. And we got more of the people. My Buddy's Customs in the house. What's up, bud? And of course, we all saw the Black Knight telling me that I was wrong, but I don't know what's going on half the time. Toy Connections, Ken's in the house. What's up, Ken? Another Canadian in the house. Dave Dimensions, who's a Canadian by honorable mention since he lives right across the Niagara River from Canada.
We might be Americans soon. Who knows?
That's right. And Justin Mohan is here. And I think I saw Fat Red Foo show up. And Northern Nomad, what's up, suckers? And there's Fat Red
Norman.
Foo. And that's it, brother. No, we got
Did
this.
you
This
get
guy.
this one?
I saw Norman at the Tim Hortons the other day.
He said, "Hey,
Hey. What's up, Brickster?
Cool. So
And I said sorry.
So I have the screen back up in here, and you guys should see the images that you guys were posting there. I think one of these may allude to the Prometheus head, maybe. This is kind of like a spin-off of that, right?
oh yeah, yeah."
Awesome. So this is these are some prototype and paint items, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Adam. Who is painting these ones? Who's handling the paint apps for this? Oh, okay. Awesome. So Arlen, you're doing the paint on these ones.
Yeah, on all the
cool.
heads. Yeah.
Awesome. Good deal. They look great. I was looking in the background trying to see what was in there, in comparison to what I've seen on the Kickstarter post, see if there's any like hidden kind of, items in there. It's hard to tell.
I'm like 95% sure that there's at least a head in that bunch that is not accounted for among the figures.
Ooh.
Nice. And then, so what is the kind of inspiration behind the theme and aesthetic of these figures? I mean, you kind of alluded on some of the, kind of like you gave it a shot and you're just trying to like kind of draw something, right? Arlen?
Yeah, honestly, I'm really influenced by like old zombie movies and Night of the Living Dead. So I actually sculpted everything so it's almost like it has prosthetics on a human face, is the way I sculpted a lot of them. You probably won't be able to tell once it's in toy, but that was the inspiration. Some of them were sculpted as if they were a sculpted dummy head. Like I was kind of influenced very much by Evil Dead, all that sort of stuff.
Movie prosthetics.
Yeah, movie prosthetics. I actually wanted to do that years and years ago. I wanted to go to school for it, but ended up getting into guitar building instead. So,
oh wow,
yeah,
that's an
why did you
interesting
decide
story.
space?
What's that?
I said, why did you decide space?
Because I wanted to do an astronaut,
Okay.
and I like zombies, so I just merged
got
them.
Zombie Santa and zombie, Monster Force wasn't enough, right? You just
Yeah, exactly.
I
Gotta go more.
I get it.
So So the previous image that I showed, which was what you kind of conceptualized everything on, is that a specific character?
Was it a specific character?
Is it a specific character?
No, it was a
No, so it's just
generic body that I was going to base everything off of, and then I had started developing the characters with Ira after. So we talked about how the characters would be, and I wanted to have certain accessory elements that worked to help tell the story of the character. So we worked together to work all those sort of details out.
Yeah, and he wanted specific factions so that he could have, kind of 4 different, well, I guess 5 different specific versions of the astronauts. And so then we sort of turned those built those into characters and so on and so forth.
Lots of back and forth.
A lot of back and forth.
Yeah. So, I mean, that kind of piggyback off what I was going to say. So 2 pieces, like how long has this project been in the works? I know you guys have brought Adam in, around Joe Fest. I'm assuming that was 2024, right, Adam?
Mm-hmm.
So
Correct.
I'm assuming there was some groundwork before you decided to interview Adam for that job and
Yes.
Have a cross-continental or
Was it
cross-nation
3 years?
interview.
It's got to be like 3 years,
Yeah.
because we were working on that record every 2 weeks for
A year and a half.
a little over that.
Yeah,
And
and
that
I
was-
sculpted it and resculpted it and resculpted it about 5 times.
And then after those sculpts were basically finished and our album was getting close to being finished, we decided, okay, well, now we need a comic book. And so as we were making the comic and writing the comic book, Arlen and I'll sit down and we will come up with a billion ideas, pick the ones that was sort of the arc that we want to go. I'll go home and write a bunch of it down into, a script, show it to Arlen. He'll be like, okay, like this, I want it to do this, or I want to make this part. Can you write that into the story? And so it's a lot of it's sort of they work together because, the characters and the sculpts are all they wouldn't be as individual and unique.
Yeah.
Without,
And I was kind of pushing some elements in the story just because I was like, I want that in toy form.
yeah.
So I'd be like, do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, how are we going to do that? I'm like, I don't know. Let's figure it out.
It's your problem. Figure it out.
That's
Make
awesome.
it work.
So it sounds like, and one of the follow-up questions was like, if you guys have gone through any major changes or iterations from the original concept, that original concept art looks very similar to what we've kind of seen in some levels.
I've adjusted a lot of the proportions and changed a lot of some of the details, I guess. I mean, it's essentially the same, but a lot of the inner workings have been adjusted a lot.
So what could the name have been if it wasn't Space Zombies from Mars?
Wait, say that one more time.
What was the name if it wasn't Space Zombies from Mars? What other names were pitched around, or was that it and you locked in
Honestly,
that?
That was it.
That day that I showed him the picture, I was like, Space Zombies from Mars. And I was like, that's
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
just stuck. I don't know. I was like,
It's stuck.
maybe.
And because I said that, and then we decided we were going to write a whole album around it, there really wasn't any going back from that.
Yeah.
That was it. And then it
That's
just
cool.
So I have a question. So some of you started making the album, and as you got farther down the album, and you also got farther down the character development, did some of the characters get developed or get inspired by the music, and then some of the characters actually inspire some of the music? So was it kind of flopping back and forth?
Yeah, I think. What are you laughing about?
Oh, there's just one song that is because of a character.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah, we added a song because basically we had this one character who loves country music, and in the story I wrote her singing this old country song, and as we're getting further, we're like, okay, well, if we're actually going to make this, we can't use that song for copyright reasons. So we're like, okay, shit. Well, I guess we have to write a country song. And so there's a song on the album that is a fictional character that actually is also in the book singing this song.
Is that Georgia? Right, that's her name.
That's Georgia McBride. That's right. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll get a little inside information there. So I'm going to move on to the first piece and really kind of start to dig into the Kickstarter itself. So what can you guys tell us, and spitball whoever wants to speak to it. I know, Adam, you've been very close to some Kickstarters and stuff, so you may be able to give us some insight on this. But what can you tell us about the All Systems Go, which I love the title of? Like, that was such a cool play on the words for your all-in package. So a little bit more about the All Systems Go bundle.
Yeah. So before I talk about this one, I will say that there is another kind of all-in bundle, because this is the all-in, assuming we unlock all of our stretch goals. This is sort of everything that, the All Systems Go is like, if all systems are go and everything goes according to plan, this is everything that we will have on offer by the end of the Kickstarter. There's also a ready for launch. I can't even remember what it's called. Ready for launch bundle. Prepare for launch bundle. So day one, there's going to be an all-in bundle that will be sort of the initial launch stuff. And then this is sort of the full all-in package if we unlock everything. This won't be available on day one. I kind of learned that if you launch with a sort of epic bundle, that you will get way too many questions and you will end up having to kind of navigate a very confusing time for a lot of backers. So I kept it really, really simple. What we offer on day one will be available as a bundle, and then as we unlock everything, this will sort of become available as well. But yeah, you get everything. You get all the astronauts, you get all the zombies, you get the comic book in physical form, you get the vinyl LP in physical form, and then we do still have one stretch goal that we didn't put in this image, that we haven't really shown anywhere yet. We're going to hold off until February 28th and then sort of reveal kind of what that final stretch goal is. And that will be included in this all-in bundle as well if we get that far. Yeah, I'll be honest, it was pretty fun, like putting the bundles together, just in terms of like, we're doing astronauts and we're doing zombies. So, the bundles are like, you can get any one of the individual figures, or you can pick an astronaut with a zombie. You can get 2 astronauts. You can get 2 zombies. You can get 2 and 2. You can get 4 and 4. Like, so the all-in bundles will be no substitutions, but you will also have options to kind of like buy, bigger amounts of figures, and kind of the more you buy, the more discount you'll get, which is just the way Kickstarters work. So
awesome. So I got a couple follow-up questions on this. The first one I'm going to start with is, and I'm going to kind of pigeon this one off to like how Savage Crucible is done, or even how AWalk is going to be doing their upcoming series and stuff. Will this all be one wave targeting delivery, or will this be multiple waves delivered at different times? And I know all that kind of is up in the air sometimes based on production, but do you guys see yourselves trying to bundle this all at once?
That's the plan. That's the goal. The nice thing about what we're doing is that we are effectively using one buck for the body, and then the secondary parts are kind of what's different. And a lot of it is paint apps rather than sort of sculpt. So production will take a while, but it's not like we need to figure out the development of more molds for more bucks and things like that. So like, just because you mentioned it, like Spiro's Kickstarter has so many bucks that you can't just like develop one and then put it aside and develop the next one. You wouldn't get the first figures for like years and years and years.
Right.
Whereas with this, it's very specific. Like, it's a lot of figures, but it's a very tight offering. And the idea behind that Arlen and I have talked about a whole bunch is, we could do more than this, but in terms of getting these into people's hands quicker, having $1 is without a doubt the quickest way to do that. So
Absolutely. No, that makes sense. So that's helpful to know. Now the question I have, and I don't know that you can answer it. This is me digging. So will there be, you alluded to another kind of item that hasn't been announced. So obviously plead the fifth or whatever, right? Is there anything that you're thinking, maybe diorama pieces, spacecraft, vehicles, or any kind of playset action to any of this? And if not for the Kickstarter, potentially in the future?
Potentially in the future, yeah. I have designs.
yes,
That's all you're getting.
Perfect. And that's totally fine. And Arlen, the reason I'm thinking, because like I was picturing like your Santa Claus sleigh that you designed for the Santa Claus Naughty or Nice stuff, and I was thinking, because I wanted one of those before it was even announced. I was like, oh sweet, and Ed's like, oh yeah, that's coming, and I'm like, cool, this is great. So definitely got that, but I'm picturing like something like that, maybe for like a space rover or something like that.
Zombie mobile.
Smaller.
space sleigh.
Something small.
Space sleigh. Yeah,
Exactly.
with zombie reindeers pulling it along. I love it.
There's
Hey.
the wave 1.5 is harnesses that you can put on the zombies so that they can pull Santa's sleigh.
Don't give it away.
You're giving away the whole
That
story.
explains a lot.
And don't forget the cow catcher that goes on.
I'm
the
actually
front.
writing that down. That's kind of a funny idea.
That is a funny
So
idea.
do you guys obviously you have this Kickstarter, and I've seen other Kickstarters where like folks aren't necessarily trying to create like an entirely new ongoing IP, but I feel like Space Zombies from Mars, hearing that you got this cool album connection piece, and then you have what really hits close home to me is the comic aspect, right? So like the fact that you have a comic, I know that Adam, you mentioned like a week or so ago that it's probably right now it's just like a one shot type of thing. But do you guys see yourselves potentially expanding on that lore and potentially doing other waves if you find this to be successful?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I woke up in the middle of the night the other night and I had to write down all these ideas for the second book that I just couldn't keep in my head. So there's lots of cool stuff.
That's awesome.
So speaking of the book, since Travis loves the lore, you guys are doing what, a 32-page book, right? 32 or 36,
roughly.
Something
That's
like
the plan.
that, yeah.
That's the plan
Yeah.
right now.
It's
and that's going to
partially illustrated by me
Mhm.
at the moment. If I have time, I'm going to try to illustrate all of it.
Yeah.
I'm a busy man.
We're heavily, well, as a writer, I'm heavily inspired by like Alan Moore and doing like sort of these different sections that tell the story in different ways, and even having the album, it's like it's not a soundtrack for the comic, or it's not a soundtrack for the toys even specifically. It's telling this story in a completely different way. And also, like, if you ever listen to Neil Gaiman talk, he loves to do things in a comic book. He likes to do things in a novel. He likes to have things as a movie, or and he does all the writing for all those different, it's the same story, but he tells it in all these different ways. And I find that really, really interesting. And so we're telling this one story in 3 different ways.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Thank you for asking that. And I did bring up kind of what, the collectibles, right? You have the comic and you have the record. And I know Oz is making comments about me and AI music because I play around with it. I don't use it to make money. I just enjoy tools. I'm a techie. So, but I'm not big. I don't even my daughter has a record player, so I will have to play that on her record player.
Nice.
When I back this and get that. But I don't know if I'd even play it. I say I will, but I probably just put it like in like a frame and like frame it because it looks, the artwork from what I can see in a distance looks cool. I love the purple disc, and then I will read the heck out of that comic for sure. That I'm.
But
very
if you get the all in, then you can just get the digital download too, or one
That's
of the
true.
bundles.
Yeah.
Turn off the lights.
And Adam did say one of the things is individually signed figures and records and comics by himself, nobody else, for the Kickstarter. He said that last week. If you back the Kickstarter within the first 24, no, you didn't say that, did you, Adam? You said no. That's
no. It also says rewards not guaranteed. So That's how we. If that's how we get your money, that's fine. I will. I will renege on that on April 1st.
I think Adam also told you, Travis, that as long as you get your ass to Joe Fest, he'll sign it for you. But other than that, he's not.
He did say that. But I'm planning for Legion's Con, I think. But
I'll be there too. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, you guys kind of covered that. I'm gonna ask a question about the lore. I'm assuming that Mars is the main portion of the universe, but do you go beyond Mars in the lore right now, or can you not speak to that?
There's alluding to other things, but we're kind of, the story takes place on Earth and Mars.
Cool. And now, is Mars fully colonized? I'm digging deep, guys. I'm digging deep.
I don't know if we want to.
Yeah, you have to.
I mean,
Shut up, Travis.
Well, shut up, Travis. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm going with it. I'm going with it.
No, I mean we've already talked about this.
Yeah, we've talked about it already.
So the
if
reason
you'd watched my video, Travis, you would know the answer to that question.
He didn't want any spoilers, Adam. He didn't want spoilers.
Well, that's part of it. I definitely wouldn't have wanted to spoil this awesome interview by pre-gaming with yours.
To be fair, that went up like 2 hours ago. So
yeah. So Mars is the whole point of the astronauts going to Mars is to colonize, and so it's sort of this first and second mission to Mars. We're actually seeing the story of the second mission to Mars in this comic book.
Sweet. Adam, I think this one's for you. Translucent Zombie.
Yeah, Endless Fables knows me well enough to know that that's
somebody to fight John
like
Cena?
my thing. So stay tuned.
Cool.
I'm not saying yes and I'm not saying no. There's kind of more. It's kind of a loaded question, and sort of the deeper we get, the more. I'm trying to make that happen, but it's not 100% guaranteed yet.
So, with that said, Adam, your experience at Kickstarters, what's the biggest and hardest thing to launch a Kickstarter?
Money. But I mean that's why you do it, right? Like, so right. the hardest thing, the most awkward thing for us, to be perfectly honest, is that because we're in Canada, Kickstarter has the way that it's set up, the address where the bank is located that they're sending the check is what determines what currency your Kickstarter is in. So that means our Kickstarter is in Canadian dollars. Now, if you are not aware, the Canadian dollar isn't as strong as the American dollar, and thus the pricing looks higher because it's in Canadian dollars. So I think right now $1 US is like $1.43 or something like that. So
today it was like 70 cents on the dollar or something.
Yeah, like you probably looked at it the other way around.
Yeah, I looked at it the other way.
So yeah, when somebody sees like $40, Canadian, and it's like $25 US, they're like, that seems expensive, and then they convert it and they're like, oh, that's not that bad. So that's going to be a bit of a hurdle for us, but we're going to try to sort of push that. The first thing that we're going to mention, right in the Kickstarter is like, attention, this is in Canadian dollars. Change it so that you see it in a number that makes more sense to you. I mean, the numbers still make sense, but they seem high.
Yeah. It from a US spender, it's easier. I mean, I love it because we're going up to Toronto in a couple of weeks, and I was like, oh, this autograph signing is like $60. I was like, yeah, but it's only like 40 if I go there with US dollars. So I was like, this is great. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely understand the casual US, customer is going to look at it. Just remember, your money goes way further on this Kickstarter, guys. That's the way it's going to feel.
Right.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the irony is that, and I emailed them. I was like, okay, so the business is set up that we have a Canadian dollar account, we have a US dollar account. Can we set it in US dollars, and you can send it in US dollars, and we can still and they're like, nope, it's a Canadian address, so that's the way it works. And I was like, okay, that's I guess that's the way it works. Because the reality for us as a company is that when we get an invoice from the factory or we get an invoice from the project manager or from whoever, it's in US dollars and we have to pay in US dollars. So the difficulty for me is I can't just set the funding goal in Canadian dollars and sort of not care. As the dollar sort of goes up and down, I have to kind of reset the numbers because I'm like, hey, we have to make this much money. And so I'm using the US dollar funding goal to sort of inform the Canadian funding goal. And so it's been changed a couple times over the last few weeks. I will lock it in like a couple days before. But yeah, that's sort of the stress for me is that like I locked it in and I was like, okay, I think the numbers are good. I'm comfortable. There's a bit of a buffer, kind of a couple cents one way or the other. Then just because of, things that happen in governments, the Canadian dollar just dropped and it went from, I think one Canadian dollar was like $1.44. And I was like, okay, it looks good. And then I woke up the next day and it was like one Canadian dollar was $1.47. And I was like, we need a reset. And I had a bit of a panic moment. And then it's corrected itself. So it's just, but that's all my stuff to deal with. As far as like the offering goes, it's great. Like we're super, super excited with, what we have to reward, backers with, and it's as far as the figures and as far as the comic book and the record and all that kind of stuff. Like we're just really excited about that stuff and can't wait to get that stuff into people's hands. The business stuff aside. So yeah, just very, very exciting.
That's awesome.
So you're going to run the Kickstarter for how many days?
The Kickstarter will launch on March 1st and it will run till March 31st. So it will run for the entire month of March.
Awesome. So question for you regarding the Kickstarter with the shipping. How do you guys have a dedicated third party? I know you have some experience with other Kickstarters and stuff. Do you plan to use a third party vendor to handle the shipping and logistics?
Yeah. So the plan now, and this might change. I mean, this is, a long ways out and things could change between now and then. But I mean, the plan now, after having worked with Fulfillrite, which is a fulfillment company based in New Jersey, the plan now is to do most of the distribution out of there, meaning for US backers, they should be getting the product shipped from the US. And then I may do distribution of Canadian orders myself because it'll be a smaller amount of orders.
And you can just go next door and drop it off.
Yeah, I'll get Arlen and Ira to come over.
Yeah,
pack.
Just like a newspaper boy, just throwing them at the houses.
Take a sleigh, Adam. I know there's a lot of snow.
I was gonna say he'll just take a 3D printed version.
Yeah.
Sleigh.
They'll come over and help pack. Arlen will bring his elves, and we'll use the sleigh to deliver.
Well, Ira can dress up like zombies. And then you can just have
you can have the fluffy puff, the fluffy. It'd
be like Grinch. We'll have Oscar pull the sleigh.
That's right.
Yeah, nice.
He was a reindeer at Christmas.
It's true.
Was he?
That's awesome. Good deal. So you guys were on the Toy Collector, which to me, I'm a geek. I collect the Toy Collector magazine. So
awesome.
That's a cool achievement in my book. I think that's really cool to have that and have the cover story on that too. So I mean, that must have been cool to be a part of, right?
So cool. Yeah, very excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely.
I don't think they've had a Kickstarter on the cover before. And it was like, it was super flattering that it was like, oh, that's really cool that they would, take a chance on this. And but then I was also like, okay, no pressure. It's now in print that this line exists, and it's sort of like we haven't even launched the Kickstarter yet. So it's a massive vote of confidence. I think really what it comes down to is that people that know Ira and know people that know Ira
don't care.
Play bluegrass
Who are you
music.
talking about, Adam?
People that know Arlen's work know that he does fantastic work, and know that, if he's attached, this project's probably going to be awesome. So it was really sort of a connection that Arlen had with Blake that sort of even opened up the communication there.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of that was I will sort of fully openly admit that, like, part of my agreeing to this was that, everybody knows Arlen. Everybody that's making toys knows Arlen and has worked with Arlen, a lot of them. And so it was sort of like, when Arlen said, "Hey, I want to make my own toy company and I want to do it in a Canadian way. Are you interested?" I was like, "Well, yeah, of course." Like, it's kind of a no-brainer. Like,
aside from Arlen being attached to this, though, I mean, just the concept and the designs that have been done for
Mhm.
this, I mean, this line's just going to blow up. I can tell you that right now. Just,
I completely agree with that, Ed. And I asked the reason I asked if you had a different name is because, like, Space Zombies from Mars, it just seems so natural. I don't know if it's because I've heard it since Joe Fest last year when Ed first, I think it was last year, Ed, you told me about seeing some of the stuff
Yeah.
out there. But, like, I feel like that name just, like, it's so natural. Like, it feels like it's been around for ages, and, like, I feel like it's got like that 70s feel.
oh, it's totally a callback to that.
so-
Absolutely.
So it's very cool to me in that sense. So
we even we had this same discussion, when we were recording a video the other day. We were like, it's so on the nose
Yeah.
that it's like, how has nobody, like, done this? But that's kind of like the fun of it, is that it's like, it's at the same time, like, you can kind of get into the lore and sort of get into the kind of almost satire of it if you want, the pulpiness of it if you want.
Yeah, it's like,
but you
sitting
can
down
also
watching-
just grab the figures and create your own headcanon and be like, these are nasty, zombies, and I need an astronaut for my G.I. Joe shelf or whatever. So you can kind of go either way.
Mhm.
But for me, like, these are so much fun. And I've said this before, and I'll probably say it again until we actually, like, reveal all this stuff. But what's in the shadows of the renders is, like, really, for me, where this line becomes super fun and, like, something that nobody else is really doing.
I know it's in the shadows. It's crazy.
No, you
Shut up,
don't.
Ed, that's not fair. I get
I
left.
don't
get
really
left in
know,
the
but
dark all by
I can,
myself.
just knowing some of the stuff that I saw at Joe Fest on the table last year, I kind of
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yep.
Yep.
And people are just starting to, like, put some of these things together, which is kind of funny to me. Like, we've been revealing all these things, every Tuesday. We've TNT Tuesday, we've revealed sort of a one more render every Tuesday. And people are just starting to be like, wait, maybe that shadow is this. And they're kind of like, they're just starting to compare all the pictures. And it's really fun, at least for me, because I've seen them, like, I've seen all the renders without the shadows. And I'm like, oh man, I can't wait till you guys get to actually see what this stuff is.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, for me, it's like, it's the really fun stuff for this line.
Yeah. But no, this I'm impressed. Like, this was so cool to me when I saw this cover announced. And, obviously, I don't want to say, like, I mean, it does. It touches close to home because Adam's living the dream, right? And I know, Arlen, you've been involved in creating toys and stuff and bringing some of the coolest toys to some of us. Me, I'm a huge AWOC fan. I love that stuff. I'm
Awesome.
all in on your Naughty and Nice collection stuff. So, like, I'm waiting for the restock on Big Bad to get all my reindeer so I can take over a shelf in my living room during Christmas time from my wife. And
It's gonna be a lot. It is a lot.
yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. Like, I'm figuring out which of the kids I want to get the little figures of and the presents and stuff. So
One of those is me.
love it.
Oh, the kids didn't make it.
Ah.
The kids aren't getting made.
Aborted.
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
Way to
Sorry.
drop a bomb.
Oh wait, maybe I'm not supposed to say that yet. I don't know, but
Oh.
I don't know. Nobody listens to us anyways. Don't worry.
I
We can
was
still
really
make
looking
zombie
forward to
kids. We'll
having-
see.
No. But I'm looking forward to that and just going, like, everything you guys do. So, Adam, I'm really pumped to see this. And when I saw this, I know it says Space Zombies from Mars, but, like, that's highly articulated to me right there, right? And
I didn't do
Arlen
anything.
and
I'm
the
just
team
along for the ride.
No, I know, but, like, you're along for the ride. as
I'm the
someone, like,
security
the rest of
officer
us.
that sits in the back and is the first one that gets turned into a zombie.
Those are the
It
weird
doesn't matter.
questions.
It's cool-
Those
it's
are the
cool
weird
to see.
questions you got asked. If you were a zombie and a security officer,
So,
which brother are
going
you
on
going to
to
eat first?
Me?
Wait, what?
Yeah, you.
I was giving you an interview question. If you were a zombie and a security officer, which brother are you going to eat first?
Well, I have two hands. Do I have two hands in that scenario?
Sure, you do.
Both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah. Face first. I just grab the faces and
I've got to write in a secret weakness to the zombies now.
No
They don't
security
only
officer.
eat musicians.
Yeah, that's right. They don't like mustache.
Yeah.
The security officers don't make the cut, Adam. Sorry, you didn't make the comic, but
I didn't think they would. That's the thing.
So I got a couple pictures up here, and I'm just going to ask some questions. You can answer them or not. The engineer zombies, from reading the posts and stuff, they seem to enjoy the act of killing the most, right? So what makes them different than the rest? And if you can't answer, just say move on.
They're orange suits.
I love orange. That's perfect.
I think a lot of those quotes are based off of sort of the character profile of their sort of leaders. So the main characters that are the leaders of those factions kind of embody the zombified versions of that faction, sort of embody the personality traits a little bit of that character.
Man, you killed all my rest of my questions by saying that one.
Sorry,
answer.
sorry, man.
No, you're good.
Oh,
I
we're
got
supposed
some
to
more
not answer that?
I mean, never
No,
mind.
you're good.
You asked the question, Travis.
Oh, you were gonna ask. Okay, what about the blue one? What about the green one? What about?
Why is this one the worst?
Okay, you
I'm
can
so
still ask.
basic.
You can still ask.
Yeah, you can.
I was just gonna, like with the medical zombies, they do the most physical damage. So I was curious on like how that, like what that means, or kind of the play on that. But again, it sounds like it's the embodiment of the main centerpiece, right?
Well, I mean, actually, the idea on that was that they're they know the most about the physical human body, so they really like to dissect their victims. You know.
So they're the Jack Ripper.
So their minds are still there then.
I mean, you're going to have
I'm
to
lore
decide for
diving.
yourself as you are reading the comic book when it comes out.
So in the comic book,
And then
go into how they became zombies.
Yeah, you'll have to read the book.
Yeah, I want to read the book, so that's what I'm asking.
But is it like but I think what Ed's asking, are you going to Walking Dead us, and we're never going to know how it started, or will we at least know where it came from?
So
They won't tell me.
What Adam asked us last night was like sort of what makes the zombies different, and they're sort of classic zombies, but this isn't a what did I say last night? It's not a like zombie plague story, if that makes sense.
Right. Yes.
It's not like science experiment gone wrong sort of thing. Also, thanks for ruining Walking Dead for me.
I just started season 1. And 4 episodes in.
I've never seen it either.
Spoiler alert.
I don't watch zombie stuff. It scares me.
Well, then don't worry. The Walking Dead, no, I enjoy. Yeah. So then this one, what can you tell us about Spike Spectre? Seems like a fairly main character. Like, is there anything you can share with us?
Or is he? No. Yes, he is.
Do you want to talk about any of this? Okay.
Why does he wear red?
Well,
And,
it is
the Red Dust mission, right? I think I saw something about that.
Red Dust mission. I mean, the redness is Arlen's thing.
Yeah, aesthetic choice.
Yeah. Because you were saying it's villain red, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's specifically villain red, but you think red villains.
No, that was the color of the crayon. It's villain red
Villain
on
red.
it. Yeah.
Is that colored it in?
Spike is sort of the leader of the first Red Dust mission, and he was going to Mars for a specific purpose, and that sort of helmet crown piece that he wears is a big part of that. So that's all I'm giving you.
I'll take it. I'll take what I can get. This is a buffet. I can try a little bit of everything. My images aren't showing. If there's any chats to pull up real quick, Ed, right now would be that
We
time.
could just describe them. We've seen them.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm getting sick of them.
Rick says,
Oh,
speaking
there's
of
no
Walking
way.
Dead,
There's no way with that artwork.
if
No,
you
there
all
isn't.
kill the
I love.
Asian guy, he's going to be pissed, just so you know.
Well, it's a tragedy. I'll also tell you that.
Awesome. You got Michael Locke, seems to be a fascinating character. What's his role going to be? I think he's medical expertise or something like that.
Mhm.
Anything you can speak to on him to give us a little teaser into the comic lore and the world?
He's the most like us
Okay.
in the as far as the cast of characters. He's the dork. He's the one that is he's the nerd. He loves, toys and Dungeons and Dragons and Star Wars and all that stuff.
And I know we already kind of covered on some of the McBride stuff earlier. I think you alluded to some, backstory on the country music, and it shows in the accessories here. And then the one that I thought was interesting is Julia Stryker here is referred to as mother in the post, right? So kind of like, what kind of leadership dynamic does she bring to the lore in this? And does she interact differently with Spike or Locke because of her motherly approach?
Yes.
Shut up, Travis.
Okay.
So Travis, just for like a little bit of clarification on the lore, Spike Spectre was the leader of Red Dust, the original Red Dust mission.
That's right.
All of these other characters are part of Red Dust 2.
And the Red Dust mission, no one actually knows if they made it to Mars or not. And so our story takes place our story is the story of Red Dust 2, basically doing what Red Dust 1 set out to do.
Okay. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Sounds like I'm really going to like the lure for sure, because that
I told you.
that sounds really cool.
Is he drooling?
Yes, he is. He's drooling.
Cool. So then again, kind of highlighting the Kickstarter as a whole. I did have one question I thought of as we were going through things. And again, you may or may not be able to answer. Is there any chance for those guys that like to customize, will there be like a slate-like figure potentially for this Kickstarter? For those that want to paint up their own cool colored figurines. Next question. Okay.
Arlen, do you want to answer that? Or do you want me to answer?
You can answer it. You can answer it.
We went back and forth about the idea of like a blank, like an artist proof or whatever you want to call it, like just a gray just a gray printed figure. And ultimately we just decided that for the Kickstarter, we're not going to do it. For a couple of reasons. But to really sort of give you the simplest sort of explanation, it doesn't really fit in an all-in, and it feels like an adjacent product. So for the sake of like having a really streamlined and concise Kickstarter reward offering, it ain't it, so if there's enough demand for it, we would be open to it. I think if we did an artist proof for a blank, it would be, a wave 1.5 or a wave 2 type thing, where if there's enough demand and we can sort of get enough pre-orders for a figure like that, we could do a figure, we could do the full deluxe offering because there's no paint apps on it. The manufacturing cost is a little bit lower. So we could do a full gray figure in the astronaut, and we don't know, like we haven't priced it out. We haven't looked at it. So this is just sort of spitballing. But we could effectively do a package where you get all the astronaut parts, all the zombie parts, and a handful of heads, and do it as like, hey, you want to paint everything? Here it is. But it didn't make sense here because like it's not part of the lore, it's not part of anything. So it's kind of more like if there's demand for something like that, we could always do it. We'll have the molds. But I just know other Kickstarters, and how things have worked, and the numbers for those things don't really warrant them being there, apart from like the few, very sort of hardcore people that want to buy 10 of those and just customize their own. You can still paint these ones, you just, prime them up and start with a blank slate, but it wasn't practical for what we were doing this time around.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think it's a cool idea to potentially have as, like you said, 1.5, where maybe you get like a larger package for the box and having larger assortment of pieces to be able to plug and play.
It'll just be in a brown paper bag. It'll be like, you dump it out on your desk and away you go. Like you're not getting a special package for a figure that is that's no joke.
It should be stamped with an icon like a flaming bag of shit.
We're just gonna we'll just hand write on it blank. Blank astronaut, awesome. And then just ship it.
That'd be awesome in like a crayon, in a red crayon.
We're gonna ship. We'll just empty the parts into like an envelope, and we'll just mail people the envelope. And we'll be like, here you go. You asked for
all the shipping you'll save. Just bubble mailers.
and now, Ed, I think you were gonna say something.
I was just gonna ask one of the questions that I did have, because I know like sometimes some of the cosmic legions, like that dome helmet, is a real pain in the ass to get it to stay on. So how are these ones, like when you put the dome over the head, does it lock on? Does it pop on?
The dome is going to be two pieces that clips together and then locks in, and that's what holds it together.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
The astronaut helmet is also two pieces. And the way that it actually works, and I don't have one close enough to me, I can't show you. But basically you'll
I have one actually. I can go grab it.
Yeah.
Well, I could just probably explain it. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
You'll just pop the head off, put the base on, put the head back on, put the second part of the helmet on.
Oh, cool. Oh, okay. So the neck, it kind of goes around the neck piece down there and then sinks in.
Yeah. So the sort of chest harness piece like is molded with sort of a lip on the thing, and then the base of it will kind of lock into that, and then you'll still be able to sort of like move the head within the helmet. Arlen, correct me if I'm wrong. I've only seen prototypes, so I've handled them too. So I've broken them.
What?
Just kidding. Well, I glued them back together. Oh. Nobody will know. No. So yeah, the base goes on, the head goes on, the second piece goes on, and then you sort of get the complete astronaut. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was one of the things I get frustrated with posing the cosmics at some of the helmets. If you turn the heads just right or raise an arm or something, it just always tends to angle up wrong or something.
Yeah, the Four Horsemen don't know what they're doing. What a bunch of hacks.
I only bought like 18 of
the Those guys are gonna hate me. Yeah. Those are gonna hate me. Bringing guys like you on here, Adam, saying that stuff. No,
those guys are great. I mean, that's like realistically, you look at a lot, this is a tangent, but like you look at somebody like the Four Horsemen and you look at what they do, right? They do so much cool stuff that's like so well done. And then the bubble of the helmet of the spaceman doesn't fit on perfectly. And people are like, these figures are trash. And you're like, what are you talking about? Like these figures are amazing. That design doesn't necessarily lend itself to fitting perfectly all the time. Like,
I don't have a problem.
It looks too cool,
but it's just it gets frustrating when you're taking pictures sometimes. So you like get a picture.
Well, then just stop taking pictures.
I'm gonna have to. Screw it. I'm not taking any more Tosca pictures.
Just abandon your dream and just.
I did that a long time ago.
So a couple questions before I kind of ask you guys to close up and stuff, because I know we're going on about an hour now. So I did want to just check: is it public knowledge of what your target goal is yet, Adam?
No.
Like what your okay, cool.
It's pretty low. He's still finding that Canadian dollar price.
No, I mean we have, like I said, we have kind of the US dollar funding goal that we need to hit. I mean, it's a very, very good question because we know how much it's going to cost to make these toys, and we know, like I've looked at how a lot of Kickstarters work, and I've seen that if your funding goal is too high, people kind of look at it and they go like, I don't know, And if it's too low, people kind of go, I don't know if they're going to make them with that much money. So what we kind of did, and this is, I don't know that people do this. This is just something that I thought of, and it kind of worked out for us. We actually reached out to retailers ahead of time, and we said, hey, would you be interested in this line? And if so, like, what financial sort of level would your interest be? And we got a reply from people, and so I will say this, and I'll be saying this a lot, I think. Don't expect there to be a retailer bump in this one, because we've already sort of discussed the numbers with them, and we've basically suggested to them that we would rather get their sort of full payment than a Kickstarter payment that takes 10 or 12% off the top, because it just goes much further if they sort of invest as just a pre-order. But part and parcel in that is that we won't get that bump. So when people are like, oh, we're this far away from whatever goal, it has to be crowdfunded. We won't have that last day like, oh, it got saved by Big Bad Toy Store. It's sort of, Big Bad Toy Store is gonna get the product, but they're not gonna be, the savior of the project. They won't be paying us anything if the Kickstarter doesn't fund. So that's where we're at as far as that goes. But we were able to factor in some of those numbers into our funding goal, because if we can hit the number that we need to hit in the Kickstarter, we will then get those orders kind of triggered on the back end. So we looked at all of that, and we sort of weighed, the pros and cons of like that, retailer bump and that kind of thing. So but as I said, I think the funding goal is low enough that when people see it, they're going to go like, oh, this is super attainable. Like, and when you see the stretch goals too, well, Ed, you've seen the stretch goals, like they're so close to the funding goal that like, I mean, it's kind of like once this thing starts going, I think the momentum's just going to kind of take it to the end. So, we're confident that the numbers make sense and that they're going to work, and that collectors will see them and not, panic. They're like, oh, we're never going to get that much money, even in Canadian dollars. Like I think, and that was like, I was conscious of the fact that if you only see the Canadian dollar number, it had to be low enough that you didn't just go, well, there's no way that they're ever going to hit that. So it's a mission to Mars, but I mean, that's just too much.
I don't think you're going to have any problem hitting any of those stretch goals at all. I mean, really, realistically,
no, this shit's
people
cool.
Are
man.
looking for something different and something that's unique and still be in that 6-inch scale, right? And this is just, it checks every box for that.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the damn guns are pretty awesome too. Some of the laser rifles that are being showed off.
Yeah, I mean, we're we went back and forth about this too. We redesigned some of the weapons. I didn't. I was just like,
it was your suggestion.
We should redesign some of the weapons.
These weapons look like shit, Arlen. What the hell are you doing?
Hey, Arlen, get to work.
Starting to feel that way.
No,
we designed them.
Arlen only hears from me when I'm like, Arlen, I need you to do this, and I need it done tomorrow. And he's like, I don't want to do that, and I can't. And I was like, come on, get to work.
Shouldn't have put him in a van, Arlen. Shouldn't have put him in a van.
Huge regrets.
No.
I said, okay, here's the thing. When they said, do you want to start a company? I was like, you guys are going to hate me sooner rather than later.
He did say that.
He did.
But all that aside, the offering is fantastic, and like you said, the guns are cool, and we went back and forth, and the guns initially kind of looked more like guns, and I was like, there's so many of those out there, like, and if you want different weapons for these figures, they're out there. You can get you can get an Action Force weapons pack, you can get the Gridiron Studios, exactly. You can get your Monster Force stuff that comes with way too many accessories already, so you get plenty of weapons there. I was like, there's so many other weapons out there that kind of pick your favorite and bring them into this sandbox. Like all of these figures will work together. All of these figures are meant to be, you know, in the same sort of like play patterns, right? So what we decided against was like doing something that everybody else is already doing as far as the accessories and the weapons and stuff like that go.
Was this
Early
one of your,
on,
redesigns?
Yeah.
I said let's make it more sci-fi in Arlen, and then
I love
Arlen.
that.
Adam
It is
sent
magic.
Arlen a picture on a napkin and said, "Make it look like this." And Arlen was,
He was like, "Is that a triangle?" And I was
Yes,
like,
sir.
"Do it, make this
That's
weapon."
awesome.
And he was like, "I don't understand."
That's awesome. Good deal.
But then we also
no.
kind of like early on, we were like, "Should we do a weapons pack?" And I was like, "With that's everybody has a weapons pack. Like then you got to do tooling, you got to do this, you got to do like it's just again just to keep it tight, to keep it like astronauts and zombies, and then you know you can expand on it if your headcanon wants to go beyond what the comic book has for the world.
I think the
Why
offering is
waste
tight.
the energy on
all
a
of it.
weapons pack? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ed.
I was just saying, from what I saw, the offering is just tight. It's perfect. There's not a lot of
Yeah.
fluff, but enough to make you want more.
Cool.
Yeah, so
Hopefully.
two pieces. Adam,
We want
update
you
your
to
line
want
from
more.
accounting. Updating from accounting to hustler, because that approach, reaching out to these other stores, the online retailers and stuff.
I count the
about that.
money too.
Not yet.
Hey,
That's part of
whatever
it.
whatever you want to do. No, but like honestly, like that approach is genius, right? Like, you know, going there and avoiding having to get that portion to the Kickstarter brand and the way they take off their top. So that's great. I love it. And
It's a
That's
a
awesome.
lot, and we kind of ran the numbers and we kind of looked at it and we were like, okay, so if you know you look at other Kickstarters and you see like some of those retailer bumps, and you're like, if a third of the money is you know through Kickstarter and it's through retailers, you're like you're probably selling the product to those retailers at a discount, and then on top of that, Kickstarter's taking their money. And I was like, let's just forget that. The other thing with that too, like honestly, strategically, I wanted this to be a crowd-funded project. If the interest isn't there from anybody but retailers, then what's the point? Like, I want this to be like you see like a nice Brian Brink chart that will sort of chart correctly. It won't have like a crazy jump. And people are like, well, what happened there? And it's like, well, you know exactly what happened there. Like, so it just, to me, it was easier and smarter and in a weird way, kind of like safer to reach out to retailers ahead of time and say, look, we're reaching out to like 4 or 5 of you, and that's it. You know, we're not going to just open the doors to whoever. The other side of that is that we will be able to tell people that reach out, like, where can I get these if I can't back the Kickstarter? And we'll say, you'll go to these guys. So they benefit from sort of, you know, effectively pre-ordering because they'll be the ones that we can direct them to. So it's kind of win-win.
yeah, no, that's awesome. And why would you create a weapons pack when you can create that zombie sleigh puller that's going to be done and give us that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
So
So
Rick asked a couple of questions here. Who do you envision as your core audience for these, and what lines do you think they collect already?
Do you want me to answer that one?
Yes.
Sure,
Oh.
Aaron, go for it.
My core audience is everyone watching this YouTube video. And what was the rest of the question?
What lines do you think they would collect at currently, like current lines out there that they're
Yeah, kind of like probably the G.I. Joes and Monster Force, Action Force. Basically, those is kind of what I was.
Guys like you who are into like the independent companies.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I can say personally that I fully intend on backing this all in, Adam. I probably won't double back just because I've gotten out of the military size line, but I've kind of moved away from the 1/12 military style figures. But I love this, and Arlen, your work is tremendous. So
You can
and
lean into
Adam-
the horror side, though.
Let me tell you a little story.
Mm.
Travis is going like 6 months ago. I'm telling him about, I can't wait for this line. And he's like, yeah, I'm not really into sci-fi and not really into the military stuff. I'm
Like
"There's
2
gonna
weeks
be a-"
ago, he's like, "I'll get 2 figures. I'll get
yeah,
Aster
and
on
like
the
2 weeks
zombie."
ago, and then I'm like telling him about like some of the lore and some of the characters. Now he's like, I'm all in, all in.
Well, and it
Good
also
job,
helps when you
Ira.
started
Good job
doing-
on your story.
yeah, the story, and then Arlen. I mean, each one of you brings a different piece to the prize, right? Like Ira, you're giving us the lore is tremendous. Arlen, just the products that I've seen that you've sculpted, from AWOC to the Monster Force to everything else that I see that you've played a part in, the Naughty and Nice collection, that bought me in all the way there. And then obviously, like I said earlier, Adam being a partner there and feeling like he's in the brotherhood and this smaller subset of non-normal people like the rest of us who like our plastic passions.
How
right?
dare
So,
you?
hey, we're good people. No, but just being able to support you guys is definitely something that I'm looking forward to. So if I can find a way to get the exact time that this is launching and you guys let me know, I will definitely be back on number 1. Adam,
we know the exact time. We're not telling people because we're leaning into certain aspects, right? We're launching in March, so we went back and forth on the launch date. March is named after Mars. So it's not accidental that March 1st was the date, and it's not accidental that we announced it so long ago. We probably could have launched it sooner. We could launch it later. Like you're always just going to tinker with it until the day. But yeah, March 1st made sense. And then just the way, then we also kind of benefited because it was like, March 1st is a Saturday. To sort of launch this on a weekend was almost perfect. The fact that the 31st falls on a Monday, so you'll get a weekend right at the end of the campaign where you can kind of like, people will see it. They'll be like, "Oh shoot, yeah, I gotta back that before it closes." So just a whole bunch of things just kind of worked out in our favor, and yeah.
You guys screw. I'm going to be traveling that weekend. You're really messing with me, but maybe I'll still be up because I'll be headed to Toronto that night.
Don't worry, Travis. I'll be first for you.
Shut up, Ed.
You're not going to be first. I'm telling you, like it's Arlen knows. So that's it's like we have a it's
a little sneaky.
What day of the week is the 1st of March?
Now I'm gonna go into like the deep detective to see, because what you just suggested to me is that it has some sort of correlation to some sort of lore and some sort of March.
If only you could read the comic book first. You can't.
It's probably set at the time that the rocket launches, and we don't know what the hell that is. So
I'm gonna figure it out, Ed. Shut up. That's it. That's it, Ed. You know all the details, Mister. I don't know the
details. I'm just guessing.
No, and we haven't shared the time, and we won't share the time. You'll know it launches if you sign up for the sort of notify me when this launches, and we'll sort of get that out as soon as we can. The Kickstarter has been approved, so like we could launch it right. I could accidentally hit the red button and it could launch right now. We won't. I don't have the red button up on my screen. Don't worry.
That's dangerous.
It's very dangerous because I haven't adjusted it 100% yet. But it really, Kickstarters are funny because you can set the end date and the end time, but you have to actively like launch it. You have to hit the button. I've seen Kickstarters where they forgot that they had to do that and they got delayed by hours after the time that they said they were going to do it. So to that end, I also just think that like I stumbled on kind of just a very clever time to launch it at. And then I was like, "Hey, is this dumb?" And Arlen and I were like, "No, that's really funny and clever." So stay tuned.
Yeah.
March 1st.
Or do your sleuthing work. You might figure it out.
You probably won't figure it out.
All I know is that you're right.
Travis is like, you got so many pages open trying to figure this out.
I'm just gonna use AI to figure it out, guys. I'm using AI. I'm gonna do that. And
keep in mind we're on the West Coast, right? So that's the other thing is that like the time that it launches on the West Coast won't be the same time as it launches on the East Coast.
You just threw a whole nother wrench into his plan, Adam.
What do you, time
zones exist, Travis.
You jerk! It could be on a completely different day.
Yeah, it's a Saturday. I have nothing
yeah.
to do that whole day.
Well, stay tuned.
I'll be up late if you go really late, but I'll be in if you guys do it while I'm in the middle of watching Elimination Chamber at the event there in Toronto. That's gonna aggravate me if I get an alert on my phone while I'm cheering on my favorite wrestlers with my boys, and I get an alert that it's gone live, and I'm like, crap, great. I'm like,
gonna make sure
you'll miss it. You're gonna be backer 9, like some chump.
I'm gonna make sure I rub it in how much of a loser you are when I'm an earlier backer than you.
Backer 9's gonna be like, oh.
If I'm not backer number 1, I'm unbacking. No, I'm just kidding. I'm in on this. This is a cool Kickstarter. I love the so many aspects of it. The brothers working together on something to bring it to fruition. The kidnapping attempt of Adam and Joe Fest and making him work for you guys out of his van in down by the river. Chris Farley referenced their brick for you. And then, as we're closing up here, why should the collectors back and support this campaign? And then kind of what are your final parting words? And last, what stands you guys out different from everyone else that's doing, sci-fi horror stuff? We've seen some, The Cursed Dead. We've seen some other things along those lines. So, of those 3 things, kind of close it up, guys.
Close it up,
She'll back it when the elephant's
Yeah, no
unlocked.
pressure. Jeez.
Well, we have a horror soundtrack.
It's true, we do.
Tell me another line that has one of those.
Just knowing that your band's called Prometheus makes me want to back it right away.
Right?
I will say this: if I hadn't been confident in this, I would not be involved. When I met these guys, I was unaware that I was about to be roped into this. And I was talking to them and I was like, okay, so you're doing astronauts? I was like, that's kind of cool. And I was like, okay, you doing zombies? Like, that's cool. And they're like, yeah, we're doing a soundtrack. And I was like, hold on. Oh, you what? You're doing a what? And they were like, yeah, we got a soundtrack. We're gonna do a comic book. And I was like, there's so many more layers and like so much more going on here. And so I kind of was like, the soundtrack got me into it. The fact that, when I'm playing with my toys, I can have it playing in the background. And I do, because I have, the original mixes for it.
Yeah.
So I made my kids listen to it and they're like, what are we listening to? Why can't we listen to Taylor Swift? And I was like, another time. You can listen to that another time. And my wife was like, she would have told me to quit a long time ago. But no, I mean, it's like, I think, going back to your question about Brick's question about who does this appeal to, it appeals to a lot of people. If you're into 6-inch scale action figures, this checks that box. It's a pretty easy one to check, but if you're doing G.I. Joe, and you want to add an astronaut to your shelf, if you like monsters, Universal monsters, you got zombies. If you just like zombies, I literally have had multiple people that were like, I don't need the astronauts. Can I just get the zombies? And I was like, really? Yeah, totally. I mean, that's cool. They're like, yeah, I have a whole shelf of zombie action figures. And I was like, that's a weird lane, but awesome. Like, I'm glad that this works for you. And if you want to go all in on, the lore, there's tons here. And, we haven't put it out there. And again, this is just sort of a new-ish thing. But this is sort of the first step into the Nameless universe. Mm-hmm. And the Nameless universe is a whole universe. So there's, past, present, and future. There's like different things going on. So this is where we start this toy company. But this isn't the end. So, support this if you're into it. And if you're not, hopefully we will be successful enough with this that we'll be able to release something that you are into.
Yeah.
Because the lore is deep. Yes. We've got lots going on.
That's awesome. And I don't know if I commended you guys. I love the name of the company too. The Nameless Toy Company is freaking awesome.
What name?
I don't know, man. The gimmickiness of everything is like it reaches at everything for me. So this is awesome. Good deal.
Yeah. Space Zombies from Mars is like sitting down watching an old 50s sci-fi movie. It's just perfect.
I expect something to come over the radio, and then we'd be like, well, like one of those old radio stories that you would hear.
Travis, do you even know what a radio is?
I turned 40 last year, dude, and it hurt.
You guys are babies.
I know, he's such a spring chick, man.
Awesome. Ed, do you have any other questions for these awesome dudes?
No, I'm good, my man. I hope they.
deal.
I wish them all the best because I know it'll be successful. So
Awesome. Thank
I'll be
you.
backing it
Yeah.
the whole way.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Sorry.
Well,
Just getting rid of us right away.
And they're done.
and you're done.
That was fun.
No, the only one I get rid of is Ed. The only one I get rid of is Ed. That's the only one. I want to say thank you so much for coming on, guys. It's great. And for anyone listening, catching the replay, watching live, we really appreciate you guys' support. One of the things I'm going to say as someone who has done his own Kickstarter, Adam, remember to hit the red button at the right time because it, believe it or not, is a pain in the ass to remember to do. I'm sure you have more experience than I do.
Pressure,
But
I've already scheduled it into my day.
Good deal. Can you send that to me when you get a second? Just like add me to the calendar invite.
I'll message you when it launches.
Can you live stream pressing the button?
Probably not, because I'll be like I'm busy on either side of it. I literally had to schedule it in my day.
Yeah, could you imagine having like a green screen behind him and just putting like the NASA launch where he's pushing the red button?
You know what I just tried to imagine? I tried to imagine a day where I don't have a million things going on, and I could just be like sitting here, like,
What do you
okay,
normally,
watch me do this.
What do you normally do before and after that time frame on the 1st of March? Normally, it's a Saturday.
Other things.
What do you have going on before, and what do you have going on after?
Stuff.
Work stuff, family stuff. A little bit of everything.
Yeah,
it like
sleeping,
lunch?
being awake.
Keep in mind that I have jobs
Eating.
where I work from home, and I have kids that have to be places, and you wouldn't be able to probably.
I'm digging.
You wouldn't be able to narrow it down that way unless you knew my whole like daily schedule, which I'm not sharing.
Amanda,
I feel like he's gonna find it
we'll
out.
be in touch.
No, you
We'll be
won't.
in touch, Amanda. No. And second to that, I just want to echo this. If you're interested in this line, don't wait to see where it gets 10, 15 days in. Get out there day one and beat me to be backer one, because getting that momentum out of the gate is tremendously beneficial for the creators, but also those that are looking to support it too. So, that launch code goes off, and let's go ahead. Damn it, Amanda.
Hey.
Okay.
She doesn't know.
Ooh.
Oh.
There are literally 3 people in the world that know what time this is going to launch.
And a dog.
And you're looking at him. Oh yeah, and a dog. But he
Yeah.
doesn't actually know.
The 3 people are Arlen, me, and somebody else.
Awesome. Well,
I
again,
was like,
get out
wait,
there
what's going on?
Wait, I thought I knew.
Ira, if you need a new brother, I need a new brother too. So you can come hang out with me.
Awesome. Well, get out there and back it. We'll be keeping our eyes on this every week, checking in on Tuesdays. ToyLeet Takeover, aka TNT Tuesdays, whatever you guys want to call it, as we'll be keeping track of this on our weekly news and championing this as you guys run to the finish line. So, Adam, Arlen, and Ira, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be able to just discuss this with you guys.
Yeah,
So thank you very much.
Thanks for having
guys.
us.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for coming, guys.
Now, but remember this. Let your toys breathe. Do this. Toys on the desk. It's the new habitat. ToyLeet Takeover. We're loving that. It's a stack high in the air where it's at. Everywhere's a playground for Mr. Wonderful. In the office, living room, let them breathe. Action fix hit the trail through the mud and under sail. It's a ToyLeet life beyond the shelf we prepare. Figures and sets in perfect place. With Hexa stack, we own the space. From battle seeds to epic quests, our collection's always at its best.